I was just in heaven there. I don't even know, but I'm speechless. Even after all these years, hearing that song just blows me away.
Still sounds so current production-wise. The genius of Trevor Horn.
Oh, incredible. I was just vibing on the percussion alone just there. That was before the string arrangements came in, not to mention the quite exquisite Grace Jones herself. So
have you met her?
I'm breathless with it. No, I haven't met Grace Jones. I'm kind of scared of meeting Grace Jones, if I'm honest, yeah. No, I'd love to meet that woman. Wow, what an icon.
But you both have something in common, because you both sort of took a break in the mid-90s before sort of resurfacing a decade later.
Okay.
Yeah, why did you sort of stop and take a break mid-90s?
Well, I've been a pop star at 20. I was about 36 then, and I just joined the musical Tommy in the West End, and I was Mrs. Walker. That was a deliberate move to get out of the music industry, really, as I'd known it, and to stay in music, but just be in a different challenge, really.
Yeah.
But of course it helped that it was Who's Tommy, and it did obviously help that I auditioned for Pete Townsend and he asked me to do it. So it was still very rock and roll, but it was out of my comfort zone, and also not travelling. I mean, I spent that whole decade at Heathrow Airport, various airports, travelling around the world. It was lovely, Gary, actually, to just be going back to the same bedroom, usually, for a whole year without having to travel anywhere. And then I fell in love with my husband at that time, and we had 2 kids, and it gave me the courage to take that big step out of the business.
And
I had no intention of coming back either at the time.
Really? And then you studied horticulture.
And then I wanted to make a garden for the kids, because I didn't have a garden at the barn that I'd done up, and there was no garden, and I wanted them to grow up in a garden paradise, and I didn't know how to do it. So I enrolled at a local horticultural college, and then I just sort of saw the light. I had a born-again experience with horticulture, and it's still the same now, It kind of got me through the pandemic in so many different ways, emotionally, spiritually, and it's still very much so. It will be there for the rest of my life. Once the gardening bug takes hold of you, it doesn't generally let you go.
So what was it that got you back into music then?
What got me back into music was I got tempted by the 80s, didn't I? I got tempted by an 80s tour with Paul Young and I think Altered Images, Heaven 17, the royalty of the 80s. Who could say no to that? So I thought, okay, I'll do it, and then I'll go home and it'll all be over. I'll just have one last hurrah. and then, I've never looked back since.
20 years later,
do you know what?
hurrahing.
Yeah, I mean, I was amazed really that the audience still were there for 80s music. It had a tough ride during the 90s. No one could have foreseen, I don't think, the huge resurgence 80s music has had and continues to have. And it's like rock and roll. It's just 80s music. It's up there now, isn't it? Pop music at its best.
Prefab Sprout and Cars and Girls. I love this song.
Prefab Sprout were like a beautiful little moon sort of going around a planet, weren't they? Just on their own terms, just there, being beautiful, a beautiful satellite, just going around, just very much on their own terms, making this beautiful music. Paddy, what a beautiful voice as well as an astonishing songwriter. And what a gorgeous song this is. I haven't heard it for far too long, Gary.
Gonna play it now.